Press the button, press the button. All right, party people.
Hey.
We're going to let some more people come on before we get started. Again, you all, my co-host is on. She is on. Liliana, say hi to everybody. Yes, she is on. We're going to have a good time tonight. Y'all going to learn a little bit about us and our coming out story. And I want this episode to be a coming out story because this is going to be actually a part 1, part 2, maybe even a part 3, appending according to your questions. I know a lot of people have a lot of questions out there about LGBTQA. I know a lot of people have questions about their sexuality. I know a lot of people have questions about life in general, you know, and coming out. So we would like to hear your coming out stories as well. So if my co-host and I are going to talk, we're going to talk and share a little bit about our coming out stories. We're going to ask each other questions, and we're going to give you guys an opportunity to call in to even ask a question, share your story, or share. I'm sorry, you guys. We have some feedback. Share your story, or even either share your story or either give some comments. So that's what we're working on. So we got a lot of makeshift stuff here. See, I'm randomly speaking now. A lot of stuff that we're trying to put together to make sure that we all on air. Hey, sis, Raquel, New York. What's going on? Hey, Dottie. Hey, baby. My wife is on. So also, I just want you to... Hey. My co-host is on. I want everybody to say hi to the co-host.
Hello.
And we are here and we are doing our thing. And the number that you could call in is 240-556-5338. 556-5338. That's 204 area code, okay? So first we would like to say we just want to give our condolences to all those who have passed during this season, to whether it's the virus or whether it's just natural causes or any other conditions that someone may have. There's a lot of deaths that has been coming over our Facebook feed. Do you agree, E?
Absolutely. I got a phone call on yesterday, I believe. One of my girlfriends, we've been friends since we were 14. They found her sister deceased, and she suffered from MS. And she had a massive heart attack just trying to get in the tub because her aid didn't come. And, you know, we have to realize that some of our most vulnerable people are vulnerable.
Right.
So we definitely have to lift everybody up in prayer on a regular basis because it's serious out here. We really don't realize how much we depend on each other. And look at God showing us how much we depend on each other.
Exactly.
We don't realize how much we depend on each other until we're not around to be that support system. So definitely continue to lift us in prayer, lift you guys in prayer.
Amen. And we will continue to do that. The reason why my co-host and I, we like to bring hope to people. We like to bring strength to people in this season. You know, although this too shall pass, and we don't want to overwhelm you all with the COVID-19 because we all know we're watching the news every day. We're trying to give everybody something new, something different that you guys can feast your eyes on. Y'all can listen to because you know I can't watch the news for so long because it really depresses me. You know, at that point. So I just wanted to sis, you got a lot of feed. I think it's because you on your card. So, so we want everybody to understand that, you know, we love y'all and, we just trying to give somebody something new, give you guys some hope and to let you focus on something other than just the COVID-19 and all the news that's happening out there. So my co-host and I, we are going to share our coming out stories with you all. Do y'all mind? It is very personal for us because a lot of people always go, oh, how you a minister and y'all gay? I mean, what does that mean? You know? We are all doing the work for the Lord. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
So, you know, I don't know what that has to do with anything. But anyway, when you're leading people to Christ, I don't want to get into all that because I always said I'm not going to go into that. Y'all see me on other platforms on Facebook Live where I am, you know, doing my minister work. And that will never die because we're always going to mention something about God while we still on randomly speaking. Because that's my faith. That's my hope. That's my strength. And that's who all my faith lies in.
So, absolutely.
So me and my co-host E, welcome to Randomly Speaking. Everybody who just getting on, my co-host is online. Say hi to everybody. Introduce yourself again, sis.
Hello, hello, hello. This is Eliana, and I'm glad you're joining us. We need something to take us out of the day-to-day monotony of this thing that's going on. So we are here to entertain you, to ask some crazy questions, and have some random conversations.
Yeah. So our random thing is coming out. And the reason why I chose that topic, because a lot of people always ask me about, a lot of so-called heterosexual folks always ask me about my life and about me being married to a woman and we sharing kids and grandkids and all those things like that, and still being myself, my authentic self, me being a minister and stuff. So we wanted to share our coming out story because even I work with a lot of youth as well, and they also have questions about it, and they all, even their lives and coming out, and I'm talking about kids like 6, 7 years old, like a lot of people are like, what they know about that? But let me tell you something, at 5 years old, I was checking out the little girls in the class. I wasn't looking at the boys.
Well.
And I knew at an early age, So my first question to my co-host, how old were you when you knew you were different or you was attracted to the same sex? Was it something that like from early on, or something that happened? What happened?
I think for me, it took me a little bit longer to reconcile my feelings. I am a survivor of childhood molestation. So I had a lot of thoughts and things that I had to work through in my mind before I can really figure out what it was I liked or I didn't like, because things were introduced to me too young.
Right.
So when I was in my teenage years, I started realizing that I did like women, and I found them attractive the same way that my friends were finding boys attractive. I was finding girls attractive.
Right.
And my two closest friends in junior high school were dumb girls. And so we were cool, we
right,
everything, but of course I had my boyfriend because I was supposed to have a boyfriend, because that's just what I thought it was supposed to be. I needed to feel normal because of my abuse.
Right.
I needed to feel normal. And then later on, I'm also a victim of rape. So when that happened, then I didn't understand any of it.
Right.
So it took me a little while, and I actually met my children's father while I was figuring myself out, and he is like the greatest friend in the world. Well, I fell in love with the friendship.
Right.
And I think he did the same thing. So when we separated and I began to walk in my truth at a young age of about 30,
right,
or so, and I started walking in my truth, it felt right, but I had done the mental work from, the molestation and the rape. So for me, it took longer because I had things put on me that I wasn't ready to process as a young girl. But when I walked through it, baby, I bust those doors wide open.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
I know that's right. But was it hard for you to know that you have these feelings for a person of the same sex, but yet you are dealing with a man, you are married to a man, and you're having, that type of relationship? I mean, how was that for you?
Honestly, it wasn't bad, and I'll tell you why. My mom and my godmother, quote unquote,
right,
lived together at our house since I was about 4.
Okay.
So I witnessed same gender loving, not knowing that that's what it was.
Right.
Because my mother was not out at all. My mother actually never came out.
Right.
Even till the day that she passed away. But I think everybody knew.
Okay.
So I think me witnessing that same gender loving, it made it easy for me. That's what was natural for me. But the beauty about it was because my mother wasn't out, none of that was shown in front of me. There was no affection between the two of them.
Right.
They kept separate bedrooms and everything. So for those people out there that want to believe because I'm the same gender loving that I am, absolutely not. That's not it. It really was that I saw two women in the same space, and they were fine with each other being in the same space. And so that made it comfortable for me because I felt very uncomfortable being in the same space with a woman because I knew my feelings.
Right. Wow. Wow. Like for me, I knew from a little girl. I mean, my cousin Dwayne is up here. I mean, I used to play with the boys all the time. You understand? Never liked wearing stockings, never liked wearing the skirt. But because my mother was a reverend, she was in the church and stuff, I did a lot of that for my mom. You understand? Like growing up. It was very hard for me because my aunties and all of them, uncles and them, they are in the church, so when you have family in the church and you're in Sunday school, 7 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, you waking up, going to Sunday school. And then after Sunday school, you go right into church. And after church, you got second service. And then your choir, you got to go over here and sing. So I was always in church, Wednesday night, Bible study, Friday night, choir rehearsal, we got a play coming up Saturday. So, I felt trapped inside me. You understand? I felt totally trapped because I was living like these two lives, and it's really hard to live two lives, two separate lives when you are one person and you can't tell anybody that you are feeling this because that was like unheard of when I was born. I was born I'm telling my age, I was born in 1969. So when I was like 5 and 6 years old and I was in kindergarten and I was liking the little girls in kindergarten, every time my mom brought boy boxers for my brothers and them, I used to take some.
Right, they feel good.
Yeah, and it felt comfortable. I didn't want the panties that went into my little booty and everything like that. I didn't want all that. And I hung with guys, and a lot of people on my block used to tell my mom, oh, she's going to be fat, she's going to be fat, she's going to be pregnant at an early age. I ran with guys because I related to that. You understand? I had a lot of guy friends because I related to that. So I didn't grow up watching my mom being in a relationship with somebody else. That's what taught me how to be in a relationship. I didn't know anyone that felt the way I felt coming up. Right. So I couldn't say that I copied off of somebody or I saw it on television because TV went off at a certain time. So where you don't see those things. You didn't even see people kissing. When you saw a tampon commercial, you like, ooh, y'all remember that commercial? We wear short shorts. I used to be like, okay, they got on short shorts. This is cool. That was my favorite commercial because girls had on short shorts. You seen a little bit of their booty, So I was like kind of excited about that commercial. But, I did not grow up like that. So I always ask myself, I question myself years and years. Like, everybody, tell you, oh, you got to pray about it, pray about this, pray about that, and I did. Because, God is my everything. And I'm like, well, God, if you're going to change me, you need to do it because I can't do it myself. You understand? Because this is something that I felt early on. And I always thought something was wrong with me because that's what everybody said, coming up, that's not the way it should be, but I'm like, well, if not, why am I feeling this, at an early age? At 8, I was 8 when God called me to ministry. And I know that, you understand? But I always never felt worthy to go because people made me feel ashamed of who I was or what I shouldn't feel not because they knew of me, but because I grew up hearing about bull daggers and you shouldn't be around this one like it was going to rub off. You was going to catch it. What was your thought about that?
Girl, I ain't heard that in years.
Yes. And it was like you was going to catch it or something with something to catch. So I was like really reluctant to even tell anyone about it. About what I was feeling. So I suppressed those feelings, and I tried to, leave it alone. But one thing I did notice, even when I had guy friends, I used to want to throw up, Oh, wow. Yeah. And I mean, it really made me literally sick trying to live this so-called American dream. Like everybody say that what it should be. You understand? So, it was a rough time for me. And you know what? My mom did not even know. I was afraid to tell my mother, So I believe that if I didn't have God in my life and that strong relationship with God and knowing that God loves me for me.
Yeah.
You understand? I don't know where my life would be.
Yeah.
But what about those who don't have that?
And there are some that don't know. They don't have a connection to a source, and I'm not knocking anyone. That's not what I'm saying.
Right,
what I'm saying is when the storm comes, if you're not rooted, you're going to fly away. You're going to go any which way the wind blows. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not saying it because I'm someone that's so rooted. That's always been so rooted. I'm saying it from someone who I'm not giving up my roots for nobody.
Right,
I'm going to stay grounded because this is who
who I am. And sis, you're absolutely right. At 8 years old, you can't, I would love for someone to tell me at 8 years old how your church family somehow imposed on you same-gender loving when it was nowhere near you. It doesn't happen.
Right.
And you can't tell me because I was abused that is why I'm same-gender loving.
And that's what I'm trying to say.
Even after being abused, even after being raped, I still married a pretty great guy.
Right.
So
right.
that's not it. And the attack that we get because we're same-gender loving is so interesting because the first thing they say, man and women were made to procreate. Well, you and I both got an army of kids.
We sure do.
So, I'm sorry, that part you can't do. That doesn't work for me.
That's right. That's right.
How can you raise a boy being a woman? Well, my son is a great person, and your sons are great people.
Oh, yes, they are. Yes, they are.
They make the decisions they want to make, and they're grown.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
They're good people.
Absolutely. Loving people. Forgiving people. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. And so the one thing that, it's always trying to figure out what was that switch that turned us gay. I have a question. What's the switch that turned on that turned you straight?
That's right. That's right. Hey, that's a question right there. That's a question right there. I have seen and counseled from my whole entire life. My son just turned 32 years old, 32 years, small kids. I'm talking about first grade, second grade, third grade, who was same gender loving, and they have a mother and a father as a parent. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. And they knew, this is who they were, very flamboyant and everything. So you can't tell me that, it doesn't exist. You can't tell me that someone made them do that or made them choose that. You understand what I'm saying? You think that we as gay women and men, LGBTQIA, you think that we chose to be different so we can be ostracized and thrown away from our family and talked about and beat up and killed over this thing because we live in our truth? If it was a choice for me, you think I would choose to be thrown away or to feel alone? You understand what I'm saying?
Just tell the truth. And I'm talking to every person listening to us right now, and I need you to hear me with everything I am right now. Not one of us would choose this type of position to be in.
That's right. That's right.
Treated the way we're treated.
That's
and our
right.
Children deal with what they deal with when they say they have two mothers when they're in second grade.
Absolutely.
We would not choose that.
Absolutely.
We wouldn't choose it. But let me tell you something good. Just because you don't like this flavor of ice cream doesn't mean it's still not a flavor, baby.
That's right.
This is who we are. This is how we were made.
Yes.
This is how we were made. And this is just how we were made. And we don't believe that our God makes mistakes.
Nope.
Now, those that want to challenge that, by all means, challenge whatever you have to challenge. But when you do, try to take that same book that I read every day, that my sister reads every day, and tell us that something's wrong with us. Read the most important thing. Jesus said the most important thing is
love. We are in same gender committed loving relationships. We have not forced nobody to be with us.
We are married.
Yes, we have not raped anyone to be with us. We have not did any of those things. So I don't even want to get into the Bible because we can do it. We can do it. Oh yeah. So we don't want to get into that, but we want to talk about us and our lives and our walk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Who was the first person did you confide in, or did they just know? I mean, did you have somebody you can talk to?
It was my mom.
Wow.
It was my mother. So my dad, for whatever reason, I called him in April of 2000.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to him on the phone to find out he was terminally ill with cancer.
Right.
I lived in the Midwest. So I grabbed the two beautiful children I had, and I was like, I'm out of here. And I left. And when I came home, my dad told me, unless I was with someone that loved me the way that he loved his wife, I shouldn't be with them.
Absolutely.
He said, but you got to feel it. And I said, okay. Now, my ex-husband and I, we went through our things or whatever, and, our marriage is on the downslope, so it's no hit against him.
Right,
But at that point, when my father was dying, telling me the most important thing was to love and be loved at your truest self.
Right,
your choice
right,
to itself.
right.
I went home to my mother and I was like, Mom, I'm gay. And my mother said to me, okay. And left it alone. And I said, no, I don't know what
That's
to do
so
with
nice.
this.
Wow.
She said, you know, it was the most beautiful thing. I said, I don't know what to do with this, Mom. You know, I don't know how to do this. She said, you don't need to know how to do it. It's who you are.
Wow. Incredible, said, okay. Incredible.
And then it just rolled out. You know, it just rolled out naturally. I mean, my buddies, we would go out, I would meet people and all of that. And it rolled out pretty naturally. But that's a rarity. I mean, I was talking to my mother, and she, you know, she was big in the church and all of that, but she heard me, and she affirmed me. She affirmed me.
Right. Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. And sometimes your parents do know. They just want you to say it. I believe my mom knew, but she just wanted me to come and tell her. Because she know I didn't have any kids. She know I was just like chilling. Every time we go to family reunions, so my brothers and them try to hook me up. Until I'm like, stop trying to hook me up. And one day my brother brought this new chick to, you know, one of our family reunions in the park, you know, church picnic, y'all. I'm telling the story. So my cousin on here, I know you probably remember that incident, but you might not remember that situation. But anyway, my brother brought this new girl. And, you know, and he, you know, was introducing me to, you know, her and everything like that. And he was like, yo, Kat, you know, she got a brother or a friend or somebody, you know, I can introduce you to him, whatever. I was like, bro, for the last time, stop trying to hook me up. I'm looking for the same thing you looking for. So your girl look good, you know? So he was like, oh, so we doing that now, you know? So he was like, okay, so I would never do that to you again. So he respected that. My brother J Rock respected that. You know, he was like, you know what, sis, you know, I kind of figured that, but we never talked about it. So I didn't think that, you know, I didn't know. And I was like, well, I'm glad that you respect that. You know, and that was probably my only sibling, really, besides one of my brothers I really talked to today about some things. But he was the only one during that time that him and I had the conversation. But the first person I could find is my sister Mecca. God bless her dad. She knew everything right from the start when we was young coming up. And I told her. So she knew right off the bat, you know, and I just thank God for her. And I don't like the fact that she's not here today because, oh my God, I have so much to share with her. So much to tell her. You understand what I'm saying? But at the same interim of it all, if she was not there, I don't know what I would do. So she was my biggest support. And we was like renegades. She was like the, you know, she called herself like the black sheep. We was like renegades. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
When you seen her, you seen me. When you seen me, you seen her. So we, you know, she knew everything about me. You know, and one thing that I don't think I ever told anyone, I'm not sure. But if it wasn't for her, and I know God being on my side, I think I would have took my life. You understand? So this thing is real. It's real when you are living this. You can't live your authentic self. You understand what I'm saying? So I know what teenagers are going through. I know what kids are going through when they say that, you know, I was put out my home because I'm gay. You understand? Or because I wasn't the person that my mother or my father wanted me to be. You understand what I'm saying? You know, so that is hard, yes, on the parent to have to and digest that. But can you imagine to take yourself out of it for a minute and think about what your child had went through?
Absolutely.
To come to the point of sharing that with you?
You know, the parents are throwing their children away. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, you birthed that baby. Or you chose to adopt that child. You went through the pains of that child growing. And the saddest part about it is, we randomly speaking. You and I would speak.
We randomly speaking. That's what we do. That's what we do.
The sad part about it is, what if this child is just trying to figure it out?
Yeah.
That baby may not end up being same gender loving, but because you bash them so bad, and the only arms that can run into at that moment is the same gender loving person, they're hurting that person because they're going to them for solace, and that may not even be their truth.
Absolutely.
Give them babies a space.
Give them an opportunity.
Safety. Let them figure out who they are.
Absolutely.
And parents, I'm going to tell you this, and I need you to hold on to it. Stop thinking that the choices of your child validate or negate your ability to be a good parent.
Absolutely.
It does not.
It doesn't. I had to tell my mom that. I said, Mom, you haven't failed me. And my mother and I finally was able to have that conversation last year, you know, and I was able to tell my mom. You understand? Even now, up to the point where I went to see my mom after my brother, the weekend after my brother had passed, you know, and You know, and I slept in the bed with my mommy and everything. And I was able to tell her, Mommy, you have not failed me. You understand? I'm who I am because this is who I am. I can't change it, and neither can you. You understand? So, you know, and I said, you was a great mother. You was a great mother. You know, so don't think that me living my life it's not what you thought it should have been affected you. You know, because she always still think that I'm going to fall and bump my head and then I'm not going to be gay anymore. I said, Mommy, don't wait for that, Mommy. It's not going to happen. This is me. This is who I am. I'm the same daughter that you birthed and brought home from the hospital and taught to be the greatest woman ever. You understand? So don't even think that you have failed me. You have never failed me. When my dad walked out, my mother stayed because she knew she had a responsibility to 6 children. You know, my mother is a strong character. And I say, Mommy, just think of me as being strong like you.
Yeah.
That's who I am. You know?
Absolutely.
So
and they haven't failed us. They've actually, if you think about it, the parents that we have that have nurtured us and we've grown into strong women and you didn't take your life and I didn't take my life, man, that's kudos to them.
Absolutely.
They actually got us to a place with, you know, us against the world. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But it's just so important that, you know, parents, if you can, look at your child without looking at the person they sleep with. Look at your child and stop looking at who they're loving.
Yes, yes.
Find joy in the fact that your child can show compassion to another human being.
Absolutely.
And extend love in a healthy way to another human being. You kind of let this stuff go. But don't get me wrong. I don't want, and I'm going to be truthful with you, I don't want my children to turn out gay because I don't want them to deal with what I got to deal with.
Right,
right. Who I am is wrong. I don't want them to deal with the hurt, but that's any parent.
That's right. That's right.
You know, our children to not go through what we went through.
Absolutely.
But
absolutely.
We just, you know, you just gotta. I mean, you gotta love, man. You got to love.
You got
because
to.
Let me tell you something good. On that last day, if you know it's your last day, you're not gonna care if your daughter is a bulldagger or your son is a queen.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
So you can tell them just how precious they were to you.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. And, you know, and it's so crazy. When my mother used that word, you know, I just thought it was like the craziest thing. I was like, wow, she is really back in the dinosaur ages. Because no one used that word anymore. And I don't even like using those words. You understand what I'm saying? But I said to my mother, I said, Mommy, I said, really, you need to research. You know, you really need to look beyond what's on the surface. My mother don't go out. My mother ain't been clubbing since, you know, Jesus was a baby. You understand what I'm saying? So she is not aware of what's going on, you know, and I say that with the greatest respect ever for my mother. I love her. And I always tell my kids, before you judge something, which you don't have the right to, but before you give an opinion, make sure that you know what you're talking about. Because if you're not bending down to help somebody, by all means, don't kill the spark in them. You know, don't toss them back and dust them off in the ground, push them further than where they are. If you can't bend down to help them up, don't bend down and push them back down when they're trying to get up. And, you know, and that's very important to me. If I know I can't say anything to help your growth in your life or to help pick you up or to help put a smile on your face or to help give you hope, to help to encourage you, I'm not going to say anything at all, because it's very important to me that I don't kill and steal and destroy your dreams, because I don't know what God is doing in you, the work that God is doing in you, what God has created in you. Who am I? Who am I to do that to anyone?
Absolutely.
So it's very important to me.
It is. And don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I'm not always going to speak.
Neither of us
are.
all.
I'm not trying to be perfect because God already told me, girl, stop playing.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
But what I will do is I will try my best to speak life to you. And I think as we sit and we talk this, and the more, you know, we've had them gut-wrenching conversations.
Yes, we have.
And we pull back all of that filter and all that stuff, and we deal with the raw of it. As you really deal with the raw of another human being, all you're dealing with is blood, tissue, and bone.
Right,
okay?
right,
so
right.
the rest of it shouldn't matter to you.
Right.
It should be the blood, the
right.
tissue, and the bone.
Right,
And you
right.
have no right to judge me, because guess what? When you're down and you need that hand, I'm going to extend you a hand. I'm
Absolutely.
not going to extend you a judgment.
Absolutely.
And I deserve the same from you.
Absolutely not. Amen on that. I so heartily agree with that. You know, we have to get past this judgment thing and let God do God's job. I don't remember God ever saying, I'm going to retire and let man do what man needs to do for my people. You know, so we got to like really learn how to not do that. But to everybody out there that is watching, thank you for joining us. We so much appreciate that. And I'm going to get off the phone in about 10 minutes. Allow anybody that want to call in and share their story, to leave a comment, to be able to just be inspired, to tell me what your feelings and your thought is, which is fine. But I just ask you, please don't bash anybody that calls in and say anything. That's just, just share your stories. That's what I'm here for. Allow you to share your stories, the what impacted your life, and, to just move on from there. So right now, I think I just lost my co-host because she's out taking care of some things that she wanted to be on so much. So again, until she calls back, here she's calling now. All right. You back on. So now that she's back, I want to ask you, my co-hosts have children. I have children too. We explained to y'all when we told y'all, let us introduce ourselves. Our first episode to you all, we explained to y'all that we have children and now we have grandchildren. Now, at that time that you confide in your mom, you came out, what did you tell your children? How did that go for you?
It went terribly. I think because I didn't choose to tell my children anything. I wanted them to meet the people, and it was only 3 people that they've ever met. I wanted them to meet them without any bias or anything. I just wanted them to meet them. One thing is for sure, 2 things for certain. The way I raise my kids is not going to change by who I'm with.
Right.
So I didn't do all of that kissing and stealing and all of that in front of my kids with their father. I wasn't going to do it with anybody else.
Right,
so
right.
Them sitting down with the person that I'm in a relationship with after we've been in a relationship for a little bit, and them helping them with their homework is just someone helping them with their homework. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I wanted
Absolutely.
them to have that opportunity to engage with the person without, judgment or anything. Now, the challenge was I was going through a divorce.
Uh-huh.
And my ex-husband was very, very hurt because he felt we could bounce back from the damage that had already been done in the marriage. That had nothing to do with my same-gender loving.
Wow,
and I'm
wow.
not here to, throw all that stuff out there. But nonetheless, the marriage was damaged in a way that it could not be repaired.
Right,
He felt
right.
it could be, and I'm not knocking him for that. But
Right.
He felt it could be, and so he was hurting. And if his hurting, he said something or shared something or allowed our children to see him in such a hurtful place. And
Right,
it was my
right.
fault.
Wow,
You know what I'm saying?
wow.
So it was very difficult, and I actually didn't even talk to my children about why we were divorcing for many, many years after that, because I think kids, some things I don't think they can process it. They were young, 2 and 6, I think. So they were young. So I didn't talk to them about it. But my daughter would always say, when she was at school, I've got 2 moms. She was fine with it. Now, my son was not okay with it.
Right.
But, of course, he's a 6-year-old boy. He is, his dad is his everything, which he
Right.
still is, and I think it's beautiful, and that's their thing. So it was very difficult in the process. But let me tell you when the breakthrough happened. The breakthrough happened this past year, believe it or not, with my son.
Mm-hmm.
My ex-husband talked to my son on the phone about my wife.
Okay.
And told him how cool she was.
Wow.
Yes. So that conversation, and then when my grandson was christened, and man, praise be to God for that one. He made it through, and he was christened. You saw the whole family was there.
Right. I did.
My ex-husband was sitting there laughing and joking with my wife, and she actually pulled him out of a sticky situation. So,
wow.
It was
wow.
just,
Amazing.
His family loved
Amazing.
her. And, it worked out. But the thing about it is, all of this has to be a certain timing, and it's not our timing.
Right,
I would have loved for my son to embrace who I am, when he was 7. Well, no, he's 26. You know what I mean? So it took a while. Now, he loved his mama.
That's right.
My entire life, it took a lot. But just
Oh.
It just really depends, you know.
Right.
It really depends.
Of course.
With children, you have to go with what your child is dealing with because, and this is birth or adoption, because two same-gender loving couple can adopt a child, but they still have to answer that question. You always, why don't I have a daddy?
Right.
Or why don't I have a mommy?
Right.
You know, so either you got one, or you love about two people who don't have that in their lives.
Right.
So you have to answer that question. But I think you just go with what the child is dealing with and let the child go through it at their own pace. Now, wait a minute. Some things are not tolerated. Now, hold on now. You still got to be a mama. You're not going to be disrespectful in my house.
Right.
But I'm going to appreciate how you feel.
Exactly. And respect, the feelings. Definitely. Because that's healing for our children when we do respect what they feel, about a situation and not dismiss them. Because either you go good or bad, So, I get it. Because with my sons, my sons was the oldest. I told my sons first. And I set them on my bed and I, sat with them and I said, to my sons, how would you feel, if I don't get married to a man, And my oldest son says, you're not going to have that father thing and all that stuff like that. And my oldest son looked at me. He said, Mommy, that means you're not going to love us? And I said, what do you mean? He said, as long as you love me, I'm okay, with who you be with, and I just bust out in tears and wound up my two sons was consoling me. And I thought that I was going to have the hardest thing ever. And he said, Mommy, you already taught me how to throw a football and pee on a tree and skip rocks, and ride a bike. So, I'm learning everything that my friends, actually, I play football better than my friends. So kids just want you to love them unconditionally, no matter what. And my youngest son looked at me and he just hugged me. And he said, Mommy, I love you. He said, it doesn't matter, long as you love us and not going to throw us away and different things like that. I had that conversation with my kids and I dreaded because I thought it would be so difficult for them. You understand? My girls was young at the time. So anybody who I fell in love with and brought into my life, they automatically loved because they knew that Mommy was going to keep them safe, And they knew I wasn't going to bring something to them that's going to hurt them. You understand? So it was more difficult for me dealing with my family or, people than it was for me to live with my kids being authentic. Can you imagine? I lived with my kids and I was my true authentic self. But I hid when I was around people. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that is crazy. They was my support. Besides my sister Mecca, God rest her dead. But when my sister went on, my oldest son and my sons and I are like this. And my son is like, Mommy, I'm gonna always be the man in your life. He called me the other day. He called me last week, Mommy, I'm booking somewhere in Atlantic City that we can go and have some, mother and son's time. He want to do a mother and son's trip. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm good. But of course, Mommy got to still have her wallet just in case,
All right.
So, making sure that we'll be all right, But, my son is 32 and, he, everybody, when we together, everybody think that we are just boyfriend and girlfriend because, it's just what it is, and he just loved me to death. He calls me every day, both of my sons. And, I just love them so much. I love all my kids. And I just wanted to say that when we look at things from a love point and we always rule our kids with love and not fear. You understand? They will always fear us inside because we are their mother and they don't want to disappoint us. But when we show them love, we rule them with love, they're going to give us that love back, even when they don't like something that you're saying. They're going to love you back. They might be upset about it. They'll come back later and say, Mom, you right, or whatever. But they will not go too far to calling you out your name.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? They won't get that far because they know the respect and the love that you have for them. So it was different. I was more fearful in telling them about my coming out than it was for them to hear it. And still today, my boys overprotective of me. They, Ma, what's going on? What's good? I ain't hear from you. Why you ain't call me? You came back from the doctor. Da, da. So, we had that relationship, and I thank God for that, relationship with my sons. But, I really dread telling them because I thought they was going to feel the same way that people in the community did. Some family members did. And although, again, family members didn't come to me and say, oh, you gave this, that, and that. But when they're around you and what you hear from their mouths, let you know that, okay, this is unacceptable. Let me go sit in the corner somewhere, twiddle my fingers and thumbs and just chill. And hopefully nobody notice.
It's a good point because, we're really concerned about our kids. We also have to be concerned about how people impose their beliefs on our kids. Because some parents can be treacherous. They can be treacherous. So our kids, they don't want to go around the family, not because they're ashamed of us, but they don't want to deal with the drama that they need to deal with. So now you've, in essence, isolated me because you don't like that I'm same gender loving, and now you denied yourself the beauty of my wonderful child because they don't want to be around the reason.
Right. Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's with your kids. I think that's an important piece. You make a valid point. Your most important thing, how your kids felt. You have to be really, really careful with your children. If you keep putting your children in a position where they have to go be with a family member, I don't care who it is, and I don't care how much they say they love you, but if they're constantly belittling you, degrading you, or talking bad about you to that child will be tormented one way or another.
Exactly.
And that torment's going to come out viciously, either at you, at school, with friends. You just never know where it's going to come out. Pain has to come out somewhere. So you really got to be careful.
Absolutely.
Where you allow your children to be, especially if you know it's not a bad place. Like, you're not going to go into a place that's going to talk about you negatively all the time. I would just give your child over to that. Right.
So absolutely. Yeah, you have to be careful where you send your kids, when people really don't have that God love for you, that unconditional love for you, not to say negative things around your children about your sexuality, and who you are, because that draw a wedge, that tears you and your family up when you're trying to build something and they have nothing but negative things to say about your lifestyle and your life. Because this is not a lifestyle for me. This is my life, really. This is who I am, and I think that, sometimes we have to be careful, the company your kids keep or who you send them to. Because it can draw a wedge between you. And that's with anything. You understand? That's with anything. It's not even with your sexuality. That's with anything. That's even with if you was a Muslim and your mother was a Christian. And every time you send your kids over there, she want to imply all this Christianity on them. And they are Muslims. You understand? You're raising them in the law. You know what I'm saying? So it goes either way.
Or you high yellow and your family say you need to be somebody high yellow. Or you dark skin, your family say you need to be somebody dark skin. Or you short, you need somebody tall. You black, you need to be somebody black and not somebody white.
Wow.
It has nothing to do. And I think that you just hit it on the head. It's all about who we fall in love with. I don't care of their color, their nationality, gender, or anything. Your family, your friends, your workplace, and people in general will ostracize you and attack you because you are not living up to their expectations.
Absolutely.
And who are they to have expectations of your love?
Exactly. Someone just wrote us and said that, their cousin committed suicide, at 40, because they could not come out to, over 40 years ago, because they could not come out, to their parents. And that is so absolutely right. That is so absolutely right. People are, because the fear. Can you imagine all the stress and agony? I remember when I used to be acting up in school. Me and my brother Jay Rocks used to be fighting and everything. And anybody mess with my brother, I'm coming to run. Anybody mess with me, he coming to run. And I remember have to race home because I was on the track team, y'all. And I have to race home so my mom won't get those phone calls. You know what I'm saying? Before the answer machine, because there wasn't no cell phones. So I used to race home before my mom get those calls because I didn't want my mom to find out from somebody else that I was acting up. and school and stuff. So I used to wait. So the tension and anxiety you used to feel in class when you sitting in class and you had that argument or that fight early in the morning and you waiting that anticipation, like to get out, to get home, to get it. That, man, you daggone near stress yourself to death. So can you imagine having a secret like that and holding on to it and can't tell anyone? Not even your parents?
Right. And it's one incident. We're talking about fighting in school. We're talking about getting a bad grade. Can you imagine who you are? You're holding on to anxiety about who you are every single day. You're being careful about where your eyes lay.
Right.
And you're being careful about how you walk. You're being careful if you want on a female, if you want to wear tennis shoes and pants, or do you want to wear skirts and a little body top?
Absolutely.
Male, you're being careful that you don't, if you have more feminine tendencies, that you're not switching, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. It's real. And
it is.
With that anxiety and not have any outlet, it's dangerous. So all of those people out here that are saying that a person shouldn't be or shouldn't choose or shouldn't whatever, just know, not you directly. I can't say you directly, but do know that some of you have been the reason that people have taken their lives, and they need
absolutely. Absolutely.
Robbed of them because they took their life.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't allow them to be who they were.
Absolutely.
You got people now in the church, elders in the church, that haven't been in a relationship all their life because they're so afraid of what would happen to them if they told people that they were same gender loving.
Fearful.
They acted on their feelings.
Fearful. They fear. They fearful. Yeah, fear alone can kill you with stress and having a heart attack and stuff. Very fearful. And it goes also with, I'm going to hop off in a minute and let us have some callers because I see some people trying to call in. But, even when it comes to you choosing what you want to be, when your family are all doctors and you decide you want to be a veterinarian, not even a veterinarian, you decide you want to be, I don't know, something else. You want to work in a business office, or you want to be a musician, or whatever it is. And they like, they put all that stress on you. And some kids wind up committing suicide in college,
Absolutely.
Because they're trying to live up to other people's expectations of what they should be and how they should act and where they should go,
Absolutely. And as parents, it's okay for you to want the best for your child. It's okay to challenge them to reach for their very best stuff. All of that is fine. But when you tell them that who they are is wrong.
Right.
They're striving to become, like, you couldn't tell me I was going to be a doctor. That would have been truly to the left, and I would have failed you miserably.
Absolutely.
But that's like trying to, achieve something.
Right,
but
right.
telling me that I am not a gay woman, telling me that I'm not, that just means that to wish it away or stop acting like that, or you tear me apart.
Absolutely. So I see that we got callers calling in, sis. I want you to jump back on at 8 o'clock. Please jump back on at 8 o'clock so we can say farewell to everybody like 2 minutes to 8. I'm going to leave the line open for some questions. And hit me back, please.
All right, sis. Love you.
Love you more. Okay, caller, you on? Who I have a pleasure speaking with?
Hey, how you doing? This is your brother, Jay.
What's up, Jay Rock? This is my brother, everybody. This is my twin right here. Hey, Jay. Tell everybody where you from.
I'm from Virginia. Well, I'm from Brooklyn, New York, but I live in Virginia, Chesapeake, Virginia.
All right. So you called to share with us? I think we lost our caller. Anybody else? He's probably going to call back, everybody. So we're just going to give him some time to call in. Actually, I'm going to call him back because I'm interested in what he has to say. Anybody else?
Hello?
Hey, Jay, you got disconnected.
Oh, I'm back on?
Yep, you're back on. What do you want to share with everybody?
Oh. All right, so it's coming out. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And what people have to understand, and to me, when I read it, it sounds like freedom, because I'm always with you 100%. I'm always going to back you at 100% because you're my sister, you love me, and I love you.
Absolutely.
Okay? So now, when we come out, we got to understand who we coming out to.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one thing. And then we got to be strong and dedicated to what we're coming out about. Okay, we got to be dedicated and strong to it because we're going to get weak once we come out and people start judging us. That's the weak part.
Absolutely.
I'm saying about, and you know me, I'm heterosexual. I'm not, I'm not gay, and I don't have nothing against the gay community. But when I say we, I'm talking about we because y'all still my brothers and sisters, regardless.
Absolutely.
Okay. So when I say we, I'm going to confirm that we have to be strong in what we're doing, and we have to be dedicated to it because the opposition is waiting on the other side of the door. Once we open that door and let the world in, it's going to come with its negativity.
Right.
And people commit suicide, and people, they don't be accepted by parents and families and friends and church.
Yeah.
Underline the church thing.
Yeah.
So you're not being accepted. We're not being accepted, and then we start questioning why we came out.
Right.
We
Right.
can't do that because that's how we get weak.
Right. Absolutely.
Remember, we coming out. We said coming out. Kathy came out. Nobody went in. She came out.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So once you do that, you got to be strong
Absolutely.
all the way around the board.
Absolutely.
First, you got to set up your family that's going to support you. Have that support group already. There's line of support. Have that set up.
Yes.
You're going to need it.
I agree with that. Definitely.
You're going to lose families. You're going to lose mothers. You're going to lose fathers. And this goes to everybody that's listening. If you ain't lose them, you're going to. Or you might.
Right.
So be prepared for the, prepare for the best or be prepared for the worst. What's for the best to be prepared for the worst?
Absolutely.
But yet, this is your life. You choose to do this. A killer is going to kill no matter what nobody says.
Yeah.
A rapist will rape no matter what nobody says. A politician is going to lie no matter what anybody says. So we have to have that mentality when you come out. That's why your guys are represented by the rainbow. Many colors.
That's right.
Many colors,
That's
many
right.
shine.
That's
Just
right.
Look at the color of the rainbow. Look at the meaning of the rainbow. Why y'all pick that symbol?
Yeah.
Because it shines through rain and through all the storm. At the end of the storm, what you going to see? A fucking rainbow. Excuse my language. I know church.
I hear you. I'm loving it. That's right.
So
Absolutely.
represent who you are. Represent who you are. Be who you are. Stand for who you are. When you come out that closet, you coming out with your chest, and you coming out saying, hey, this is me.
That's
And
right.
I'm willing to share this with y'all. And if you don't allow me, I'm going to share it with the one that allow me to share it with.
That's
And
right.
You guys
That's
miss
right.
out because I know I am special.
That's right.
I am special to this world, and I'm a gift to this world. And then I'll just keep on. I know it's going to be hard. And I pray for you guys right now. I pray for the young ones out there that's hearing this, that didn't even make that decision yet.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
pray for you guys.
They need to
I
hear
pray
that.
God is with you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? No one has the right to judge anybody.
That's right.
Your walk is your walk.
Absolutely.
It's your walk. And I ask God to put his hands on all of my people.
That's
all
right.
my brothers and sisters. And that when you decide to come out, that you come out and you know why you coming out. Don't come out in all form or fashion. That's why a lot of them wind up getting lost. Because they're
Right.
coming out for the wrong reason.
Right,
Come out for
right.
the right reason. Come out because you're ready to come out and you're ready to be you.
That's right.
Don't come
That's
out.
right.
The Bible talks about what? He talked about lukewarm. No matter
Yeah.
what walk of life, you can't be lukewarm. You gotta be hot or cold.
That's right.
You can't
That's
be
right.
lukewarm. So if you half step, it ain't gonna work. You gotta full step.
I hear you. Absolutely.
Bold and beautiful, y'all. Bold and
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Absolutely. I like that, Jay. Good word. I like that.
Bold and beautiful. So
I like that.
I say to all LGBTs, I obviously don't know, but anyway, LGBTQs, remember T's and all that, you always use this word fierce. Be fierce. Fierce. There's something to tell around it. Always use word fierce. So be fierce.
All right.
And be you.
Absolutely.
The most important thing, you be fierce. And if nobody accepts you, you are still you, and you are still fierce, and guess what? You are still loved.
That's right.
You don't have to love everybody. You don't have to be accepted by everybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to thank my brother J Rock for calling in. I want to free up the line so we can give other callers an opportunity to call in, say their piece. Bro, you know I love you. I'm going to get with you after the show. I love you. Thanks for calling in, J Rock from Virginia.
All the time.
Okay, everybody. I'm just like loving it. I love the input. I love the encouragement. Keep on being encouraged. If nobody else calling in the next minute, I'm gonna ask my co-host to call back in so we can wrap up our show. If you have any questions, just drop a line in the box for us. I want y'all to share. If y'all think this message is gonna touch somebody's life, family members, loved ones, doesn't matter who it is, share. When I post this up, drop it, share. You can even share it now, to somebody, let them jump on and come watch. I need everybody to share. Press like and share. You can love it. You can do whatever you want with it. But please don't diss us. Share. I want people to know that this is a real show. Randomly Speaking is a real show where we talk about real issues, love, and growth. We want people to feel love when they call into the show. We want to talk about real topics that touch other folks' lives that people don't even know. A lot of talk shows don't talk about, real life stories that people are going through right now, what's going on in other people's country, why they can't be themselves, or how come they are not eating, or whatever the situation is. We want to talk about real topics. If you have a topic, if you have a situation that you're going through and you want to talk about it and you want people to hear about your story, or you just wanted to have conversation around it, drop a line in my box and say, hey, this is what I want to hear more of. This is what I want you to discuss, because I want to be a part of that show. So again, after this COVID-19 comes to an end, we are going to be in our own studio. We are going to have guests that's going to come on and you're going to see everybody. I wanted my co-host to be seen tonight. Unfortunately, I didn't take my time to get Zoom up and running so I can add her in, because Zoom had crashed you all earlier today. I was on a conference call and Zoom had crashed, so that a lot of things are going on because a lot of people's on social media. So that's why you cannot see her as yet. But I'm going to find a way so y'all can see her, because we cannot be in proximity of each other. But I'm going to allow y'all to see her so we can be able to come to y'all and, have our guests come on. But I just want to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It was real. I'm going to have my co-host jump back on. I'm going to hit her up real quick because I want her to end this with me, to allow everybody to know that you guys are important. You guys are special. If you are contemplating about coming out, or if you cannot, or if it's hard for you to come out, or you need somebody to talk with you, or you need some counseling, or you need some therapy, again, EJC is also available. You just drop a note in my box and I will forward it to my supervisor, and you can have therapy just right on. Right now, everybody's on teletherapy, video therapy. So, to those of y'all who need that support, need that help, need someone to talk to, we have the help. Absolutely. We have the help. So I just want, hey, E is back on. Okay, so if there's anybody else who have anything they need to discuss, I want to say something really important that my brother had said. When you make the decision to come out and to tell your truth, have a support system. Because trust me, there's going to be those folks that's going to try to hate on you, bring you down. Kill everything in you. When you make that choice to tell somebody. So have support. Have a support system. That's why a lot of our kids run away, and they have these built families where they have built. You understand? They have these chosen family because their family had thrown them away. And there's nothing wrong with chosen family, because I have some too. So just make sure you have somebody, that support system there with you when you make that transition, or when you decide to, because those are the people that's going to support you and hold you up. And you can always go to them when you're going through something. Don't let, taking yourself out be an exit for you, because there are people out there, and there's people out there like us, that's coming to you. So you can always drop a line. I have a lot of thousands of numbers that you can contact people, and someone will be there to be able to talk to you and counsel you.
Absolutely. There are definitely services out there that can help you through the process.
Absolutely. E, is there anything you want to sign off and say?
Just that we love you guys. We thank you so much for joining us again for Randomly Speaking. We thank you that you allow us to just sit on the couch and talk, and y'all listen. We appreciate
Thank you.
that. But we really appreciate the opportunity to have conversations about things that sometimes people think are taboo, because if we think it, then we know you're thinking it too. So definitely, like my sister always says, send us a message about a topic you'd like for us to discuss, and we'll definitely put it on our roster. So we love you. We want you to walk in your truth. We want you to show up each and every day and embrace this world, because somebody out there needs to be blessed by your life.
Absolutely. And again, to my girl Trey in Jamaica, I read your message coming up. I was hoping that you would call in tonight, but I get it. I know what you're going through. We're going to have another episode that we're going to be talking about this, because a lot of people do marry for the wrong reason, and they stuck with somebody, or they wind up with someone that they really don't love, but they do it because they are afraid and they don't have that support system, and they wind up being miserable for the rest of their lives because they married someone of the opposite sex when they wanted to really be with someone of the same sex. So that's something that we're going to talk about. That's going to be one of our episodes going to come out. And I'm going to need all you guys to call in who have been through that situation who are maybe be still living in that moment, and, and it's not fair to you, and it's not fair to the person who you got with. You understand?
No.
Because you're not really wholly giving them all of you, 100% of you. When you do something like that. So I just want you all to know that you are not alone in this. You are not alone in this. There's a whole lot of us out there that have been through the same thing, have been through similar things, have just been through, So you have that support system. You have that team. And again, on my page is Minister Ileana Bullock. That's my co-host, Minister E, as well as me, Minister Catherine McKay at page. We are there. Drop her a line, drop me a line, whatever it is, and we'll be sure to get back to you. Okay? So what we're going to say, good night, and thank you for joining in on Randomly Speaking. Hey, I'll see y'all next week, same time, same station on my live. See y'all later. Good night.